Is freelancing dead and are agencies dying? I will make a bold statement here, to be honest. I believe in the next 5 years, agencies will be.
All those things are really interesting to see and discuss and tell our opinions about that since we have a pretty good experience in both the fields.
We work in agencies, we have an agency, and we have explored very much the freelancing world. That's why the podcast is called Freelance Diaries. And goodbye.
Yeah,
Never see me again. Okay, I mean, it depends also on that.
to take in mind there are things that freelancers can help you. Of course, they can be a lot more affordable in comparison to an agency. You cannot expect easily to get to go, okay, I'm a freelancer, and every small business will go to you for how good looking you are or how.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Stef.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Today is our first podcast.
Yeah, today is the first.
How are you feeling?
Pretty exciting, I would say.
Okay, that's good because we have a pretty exciting topic to discuss.
Oh yes, that's correct.
So, um, the topic we will discuss today is freelancing dead and are agencies dying? What is
Oh
your
yeah,
opinion?
yeah, that's very interesting. About how which one is stronger at the moment? Is freelancing? Is agency? Do the agencies have the upper hand? How things have changed from coronavirus back in 2020 to nowadays after 6 years, and all those things are really interesting to see and discuss and tell our opinions about that since we have a pretty good experience in both the fields.
True.
So yeah, that should be nice.
Yes, I agree. So yeah. Um, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
But please go ahead.
Okay. So for those who don't know who we are, we have experience in both departments, in both in freelancing and agencies. We work in agencies. We have an agency, and we have explored very much the freelancing world. That's why the podcast is called Freelance Diaries. So yeah, having said that, I think in 2026 maybe freelancing is getting the upper hand. To be honest, I believe AI is helping in that department, and pretty much there's a lot of chances for and opportunities for everyone out there to find something they're good at, either be marketing or developing or coding or designing or whatever, and attract clients with various ways like freelancing platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, or whatever. And yeah, I think some of the agencies are adapting, but not all of them. And I believe that those who are not going to adapt in the near future, they will probably close or close some of the service at least. But yes, I believe I will make a bold statement here. To be honest, I believe in the next 5 years, agencies will be 70% lower decrease uh, than they are now. I mean, there will be 70% uh, uh, more freelancers than agencies. Yeah, that's my opinion in a nutshell. What about you?
Yes, that's a really possible outcome. I can't tell the future. I can't see the future and tell you what will happen. But from my experience, okay, different countries have different kind of pacing and how things are moving. For example, bigger European countries, smaller European countries, or US, which is one of the most dominant markets in the world, they have seen faster things there to go. And whatever happens in US, there is a time delay, and a lot of those things are implementing in Europe and with different time frames in different countries.
True.
So
Sorry,
that's
sorry for interrupting you. I thought you were going to say what happened in US, stay in US, but it's okay. Continue.
yeah. The time frames and the location for those things will play a bigger role. Freelancing for me, it's more flexible. It's more immediate in a lot of cases. Users and small business owners that they cannot afford the fees from agencies, because there are a lot of instances and a lot of projects, at least for digital marketing. We are doing digital marketing on paid ads, so it's one of the highest paid tier on either for the fees, either for agencies or for the freelancing. But at least for the agencies in US, the fees could be, of course, they can vary, and they could be thousands of dollars per month
True.
for for a company to.
From 4 to 8 or whatever.
Yeah,
They have a big variety of retainers.
yeah, of course, and depend on the kind of contract, how strict and closed those contracts should be. If they have an NDA, if they have like commission-based fees, some flat fees, and after that commission-based, and so on. There are a lot of things to take in mind, but it could be a management fee for a lot of thousands of dollars, even figures, and a lot of businesses, even if in the seven figure range businesses, they can struggle because that can take a lot of uh, cash flow out of them. So we have seen that a lot of small to medium businesses to turn to freelancing, to freelancers to provide them with the services that they need. And in a lot of cases, a lot of freelancers, they have tremendous experience. They don't have the layers that an agency have. For example, you won't need to talk with a customer manager or the success manager, or to have the 10 people meeting to go over a topic and over discuss and over analyze a lot of things and so on. So all those layers that in agencies there are, in the freelancing world, there are not so many layers in communication. A lot of things to move faster. If you find a freelancer that he's really good in his work, uh, you can have amazing results and and pretty fast. So of course there are a lot of cons and pros in both of situations. And some of the cons of the freelancer are, of course, the credibility of the freelancer, what in what time zone he is and not, and
True. And sorry for interrupting. And also, what kind of clients he's getting? I mean, is he managing clients on a high-end perspective or the low-end perspective? I mean, I do a small and fast work, deliver it, and goodbye.
yeah,
Never see me again. Okay, I mean, it depends also on that.
yeah, that's for the credibility that he has, the in what area he has the expertise. For example, most freelancers they don't have they cannot have knowledge on developing, on coding, on creative design, on video production, uh,
Many
on
things.
on many things, and the paid ads, and the difference is that each paid platform has. For example, Google, social media like Meta. What's the differences of either in Facebook and Instagram, where you can run ads from the same platform. So there are a lot of things to take in mind. There are things that freelancers can help you. Of course, they can be a lot more affordable in comparison to an agency. They have some other things like, okay, if you don't like a freelancer, you can go and to the next one. You don't need to follow the 12-month contract that you will need to be on that company. Either they will do a good job or a bad job because they may have some lawyers or you may have signed something uh, specific on the contract, and you will need to meet those criteria at least for 12 months. So there are pros and cons, and the money and how much a price is for each service, they can affect a lot of how the world will continue to pivot towards agencies or freelancers, and where will be a fine line on that. And I have seen also some freelancers like us to tend to trying to have a more flexible, I would say, business structure, a more personal friendly business structure like a freelancing agency. So it's not an agency where you have all those layers to communicate, where you have the long meetings and other stuff. And they can be really lean, they can be really affordable, and you can have really great
True,
value.
that's true, and I think that all the agencies that are trying to keep that culture of too many meetings and you know uh, they don't evolve. Uh, I think they will cease to exist in the future, and if we take into consideration that AI is moving forward, is evolving, it's making things easier and faster, and at the same time cheaper, at least for the moment. I mean, you can now have a developer, a designer, and a marketeer with 25 euros or dollars from ChatGPT. But I'm not saying that ChatGPT can generate the same
The same
the
value.
same value, yes, as an expert, but or an agency that has experts inside. But most small and medium businesses that you mentioned earlier will try first AI, then go to a freelancer, and then if they go to an agency, most of the times they leave the agency after a while to go back to a freelancer. It's a common thing, I think, nowadays. And I believe all these reasons will work like a Death Star from Star Wars that will blow most of the agencies out of the space, out of the industry, and only the agencies that will adapt and keep maybe the strongest warriors, let's say, in their teams, the best, the experts, the guys or girls that can, execute the best work and communicate the best with both with clients and with AI. I mean, we communicate with AI. We're vibe coding or vibe everything. So yeah, I believe that in addition to what you said, agencies are now facing that struggle, and that's why freelancing is booming. And also, that doesn't mean that all freelancers are good at what they're doing, of course. So yeah,
Yes, I agree with you. And we have seen that there are businesses that they try to pivot to that direction. Things are changing. And businesses are pivoting to that direction. Things are changing. Times is different. The time is different, and we have seen that there are businesses out there, and we have partnership with some of them as freelancers, where they are established businesses, either be on UK or on US, and they have their personal in-house. They have in-house personnel where they do a lot of stuff. They can be like 50 personal businesses. They are not a small business. It's a medium range business, but they have outsourced a lot of things out of the company. For example, the digital marketing, which is one of the most easiest for a company to outsource. Either because instead of having in-house uh, a 5 team members where they will need to pay month every month, and after some time they are not very sure if they have done a good job on the hiring. So that's something that the freelancing is a really big bonus for, at least for medium businesses, for medium sized businesses, because they can move much faster on the hiring process. They don't need to hire an entry level. They can find pretty easily a really seasoned and a really good freelancer, and they can outsource different kind of uh, departments inside the digital marketing. The bigger the bigger department, like someone who may do the meta ads, some other will be responsible for the mail marketing, some other may be responsible for the Google ads and the other PPC ads, and so on. So, and of course they can have they will be having some regular meetings, and it's good to have some weekly meetings in those cases, so you can have the team to be more stick together, and the freelancers have some reassurance that they are part of their team, because from business sides, the businesses they have a lot of pros in the for the freelancers. The freelancers as well, they have some pros, but some of the cons of a freelancer is they never know for how many months or how many time they will be working with the same client. If it's a monthly retainer, for example, so will that be a 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? So having said that, with some team bonding, let's say weekly calls, 20-minute call, half an hour call. It doesn't need to be an hour uh, and 1 hour long call. You can have some really nice team bonding. The freelancers will be reassured that they will stick to that position for some time, at least for the next 1 or 2 months. And if you are in that if you have the experience, you will know how to read the room and if you are doing a good job or not. And it's not that it will hit you out of nowhere if you will stop working with someone. So it's both those kind of things are great for both sides.
I agree, and yeah, there's a lot of most of the things you said is the reality, let's say, of
Yeah.
things. So yeah, and the weekly calls are better than daily calls.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
You don't need to have daily calls. You can be more flexible. You can. A freelancer will be maybe the workplace will be in his home, or he will have he will go to a co-working space one, twice, or thrice per week, or he will have maybe he is having an office with either his partners or some other friends, and they will be working from there. And yeah, it's more flexible, that part.
okay, I agree. So one thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think there are opportunities for those who are listening and want to try freelancing, for example? Because as we established, freelancing is not dying. So, if someone wants to join this freelance world, and what are some of the opportunities they have? You think, from your side at least? I have some of my own thoughts, but I don't know. Do you want to go continue? Continue.
For me, because 10 years ago I had a completely different opinion about what freelancing is and why you should go to an agency and all those reasons that I was believing them. And one of the reasons were the credibility and the quality of the service that you can provide. if you are a seasoned marketer, for example, we are marketers, so I will be talking mostly about that and graphic designers. So if you are really good at your job and you can provide a really high level of quality uh, and do a really good job, uh, you can be sure that you can close the client, you can make the sale, and you can keep the client. So back then, I didn't really like the philosophy of freelancing because it wasn't the mainstream. It wasn't mainstream. There, of course, always there can be solo people, either be solopreneur, freelancer, or whatever based on the period someone may be called. Uh, the the credibility of the person, because we have seen that all over these years. We have taken clients from where they were working on other agencies or they were working with some freelancers, and either the agency had too many layers, they didn't respond, they were working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, so whatever happens on 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Friday, it will go on Monday at least 12 a.m. And you have all those things. Maybe someone may be on vacation or whatever. Or from the freelancers, a lot of people they weren't credible. They did a really average or poor job. The quality of the service were really low and really bad, and the business went couldn't do anything with that. They may have paid some kind of money, either be $100, $500, $2,000 on the freelancer, and they would be burned. So for those reasons, back then I would prefer the businesses, the agencies, that to be more credible. But after COVID, with a remote working, a lot of people working from their home, things took time to try to pivot to the other side of that line, which is better, which is
The dark side of the moon.
yeah, the dark side of the digital marketing, let's say. And I strongly believe that, of course, there can be anywhere, anyone can be labeled as a freelancer. For me, if you can provide a really good quality of the service, if you have some years of experience of the service that you are trying to do, then go for it. It's not easy. It's much easier to work, especially for the first 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You cannot expect easily to get to go. Okay, I'm a freelancer, and every small business will go to you for how good looking you are or how a good job you are doing and so on. You have a lot of things to be a good freelancer besides the quality of the job. The communication is one of the biggest parts. How you handle the client is one of the biggest part of the success or the failure of a good freelancer. You may do an amazing job, but the way that you communicate with the client, it may be terrible. So that's not gonna work. That's a guarantee fail. So there are things that you need other soft skills as well as a freelancer, besides the technical things to do. For example, a developer may not be so good at the communication. We have seen that a lot of times. And I'm not talking about vibe coders that they are doing the code with ChatGPT. I'm talking about
The Batmans
I'm talking
that live in the
about
Batcave.
programmers, developers that they are writing code day and night, 16 hours a day, and they are doing everything from assembly, C, .NET, Python, whatever that may be. And those guys may a lot of times may not be able to communicate so well and handle the client so well. So for those, that pivoting might be a little more difficult in comparison to others.
True. Okay. So, yeah, you mentioned your journey at the beginning of this question. So, from my side, yes, I started with freelancing, then pivoted with you to an agency, and then again to freelancing. And I won't go into many details because you already sent them, to be honest. But I believe right now we have like I don't know, three, four platforms that can help you with freelancing, like Fiverr, which is might probably be the biggest one, along with Upwork, freelancer.com, and I'm not sure about the other ones. I don't remember all of them. But anyway, from our experience at least, or from my experience, from my side, I can say that there are a lot of AI related opportunities. So if someone is new to this world, I don't know, you might be 18 or 25, it doesn't matter how many years old you are. But yeah, you can try, for example, AI mobile apps. You will learn while vibe coding, and you can get into this world. You can create or support someone with a mobile app that you will use AI to develop this app for Android or iOS. And there are other AI related opportunities like technology consulting for AI. So you can, if you have more experience, of course, for that, you can just consult them, give them consultation about AI technologies, how to use ChatGPT, what is an API, how you can use AI and APIs to merge things, and some other developer then can do the work. But you just talk and give them a strategy. You can create with vibe coding slash AI websites and software, which is pretty easy. There are a lot of tools out there now that can do that work for you. Most of the time, it's free, but there are some paid tools as well that can help you, you know, build a service around this business model. And something more creative that can be AI UGC, user generated content, that many brands need for their social media. I think that's something interesting, and that's something that most of the brands need now. I mean, UGC content. For developers that you mentioned, the Batmans of this podcast, one important thing is that developers and designers, most of them, are
Yeah,
Batmans. They live in a bat cave.
yeah,
So
yeah.
for this, yeah,
That's so
for
true.
so for these guys and girls and in the DC world, uh, you can do services like development and MVP, minimum viable product. Why is that important? Because you don't have to deliver a fully ready application or software or website or whatever that you will take 3 4 months to make, or less depending on your level, and charge the client a lot of money. You can go create something. You can use AI, of course, to do your job faster, and create an MVP, which most of the brands that are trying to initiate something. So their stage is not at the scale stage, but are in an initial phase. They will need an MVP. So they will come to you. You can develop an MVP, and you can get paid. You can learn more things, and maybe later, as you go, you can pivot to fully development services. Also, one thing that's very easy to do, I think, uh, even if you have, I don't know, 6 months of experience, or you just don't have experience at all at some times. I mean, like development, etc. Is QA review, quality assurance. You can work for a client as a freelancer. They will have an application or a website or whatever to test, and give you a review back. So, for example, you take a website, you see if all the buttons are working, you take notes, and then you give a review to the client, and you say, okay, I think this button works fine. It's in the right position. This CTA is not good there. These colors are not right for there, I think. And other um, quality assurance tests you can do, and then deliver something pretty much very easily. So that's the thing that many customers would like to have, and I saw on Fiverr that they have a new section for that category specifically. So I think it's important. And besides that, you can also do user testing, which is very easy. Except from the quality assurance, you can do a user testing. So you don't even report if it's a quality application or not. So yeah, I can give you two more on another category because I think it's very easy as well. The first one is content, and specifically content strategy. I mean, content now, as you already know, Chris, most of the brands use ChatGPT or Gemini or some AI to create content for their websites, for the blogs, and but most of them don't have a strategy. You can just create a strategy around that blog for the X customer you want, and then you can get paid for that. So it's pretty easy. You can also do uh, ebook writing, which is very easy if you use AI. So all of these things can be simple and hard at the same time. It all depends on your mindset, and I think you need to take the time before you start freelancing to train yourself. Use AI to train yourself. It will be faster. Pick one category and stick to it, and start selling.
Yes.
If you start selling and you start making mistakes, you will learn a lot of things, and you can grow, and you can become an expert at the end of the day.
Yes, that's correct, and I agree with you. And the part about the experience, or let's say in more freelancing words, you can have smaller priced gigs, you can have mid-tier gigs, you can have really high ticket gigs. And of course, there are a lot of different levels on the quality of the service and the knowledge that you will need to have. So the experience is really important. Of course, you can start with exploring and testing the waters. You may be an aspiring young content creator, or an aspiring and young digital marketer that you may want to run TikTok ads, and you want to be the best on the TikTok ads. So you will need to have some knowledge around that. You will need to have to communicate with the clients. If you go to a freelancing platform, which are really great for networking, for competition analysis, for improving yourself and your skill set, they are really great. All the freelancing platforms nowadays, they are doing amazing job on that part. And but it will take some time. You cannot expect to start today and within 1 month to be able to live from freelancing. I think that's really something that it can happen on a really small percentage of the freelancers out there to hit the bullseye from the first go. The normal way is test things. I keep some, try to communicate with clients, try to position yourself based on your skill set. For example, if you are new to the things that you will do, to the gig that you will do, you cannot price yourself on the mid tier or on the top of on the thousands of dollars of services, because you will be burned from the get go. You will get a really bad review. you will have a cancellation of the order, and there will be some if you have an order. And of course, if you continue and book the client, go to the order, and you will have some kind of penalty from the platform for the bad work that you did. And that part will go at least 2 months. And for the next 2 months, the algorithm will have that kind of penalty. And it will not be a good thing if you want to start and do those things. So professionalism is something that is of the greatest importance. Be transparent with every client, even if you are on the entry level, a new freelancer. Just be transparent on how you can help you, the other person. Yeah, at the end of the day, even if the on the other side there is a business owner that he has some needs, if you can be transparent with him, they will appreciate that, and they will refer you to someone else, or they will come back to you even after a few months or after a few years, even inside on those platforms. We have seen that after 18 months had we've had some referrals from 18 months back, or we may had been communicating with the clients at least half a year before, and they will reach out again with us, and we can upsell, we can do a lot of things, and just be transparent, just be professional. Even if you are new to the industry, don't be so discouraged. All of us were at that point, at some point of our lives. So things takes time. Just be patient and work towards that. And don't try to skip steps. It will be a bad thing for the future.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And yes, okay. So let's go to conclusion, let's say, of this podcast because we have to close and go to work. Uh, we are freelancers. We have to work, guys. So, um, so yeah. As a conclusion, I think we both agree that freelancing is booming, and the agencies most probably are not booming so much
They
right
will
now.
need to adjust. They will need to be a little more lean and flexible, and they will need to adjust. If in any kind of business, if you don't adjust to the trends of the market will throw you out. So if the market is going another direction and you want to survive business-wise, you need to adjust. You cannot stick to a plan that you had like 10 years ago and expect to continue to be working. Maybe that would be working 200 years ago, but nowadays things are moving at such a high speed pacing that uh, you will need to be up to date.
I know, I agree, and we live it for the last 10 years at least, and with technology rising rapidly, we are facing that as well. So yeah, guys, uh, be prepared, study all the time, and one thing that you can keep from this podcast is that you have to learn at least how to sell, which is the most important skill, I think. So you can become a freelancer. If you don't know how to sell, you can't be a freelancer because you don't have a sales rep to sell things, they'll sell your service for you. So yeah, yeah, I don't have something to add on that. So Chris, any final words?
I think we covered it, and yes, that would be the all of it. And just be transparent, try to sell, and communicate with clients.
True. So that was the first podcast. Thank you guys for joining or listening or whatever, if you listened until this point. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the hype button, which is a new button that YouTube has. When you comment, you can press the hype button, the video will go up. So please do so if you liked it. We will come back again with another podcast, and we will also have other videos that you can find pretty soon in the YouTube channel. So
See you in the next
bye
episode.
from us. Yes, see you in the next episode. Bye.